Hi, Bill here, and this week we're looking at LED lights. After a little trial and error, I really stick to two lights, LED lights, individuals, and LED light strips. I'm going to show you how I make very simple light shades and maybe even some complex ones. Next, we'll look at effect lighting, which is no fixture or anything, just light to help tell the story. And finally, we'll look at lighting a display and lighting shelves like I've done in my office. I didn't have a better name for it, so L.E.D Staging Tool seemed to work. This will demonstrate basic wiring for an LED, as well as becoming a tool that I can use to place LEDs in a diorama. Now, these aren't all the tools that I use, but these are kind of the ones that you really need to get this job done. I start with the switch and basically do the entire assembly, and then at the very end, I'll add the resistor and the LED. When I buy LEDs, they usually come in a pack of 20 or something like that, and they also include a resistor. The resistor gets soldered to the positive side, and that delivers the power to the LED. And resistors are matched to the type of power supply you have. What I use is a 9-volt resistor because I like using 9-volt batteries. They last a pretty good long time, all day like if you're at a show, or gosh, for weeks or even months if you just turn it on and off every once in a while to take a look at it. In essence, all of the work I'm going to do is on the positive side. The negative just goes from the battery basically all the way to the LED. The positive goes through the switch and the resistor. Now for the fun part. What I do is I take this and I just, place it around in different areas and see how the light reacts within the diorama. I'm looking for shadows and I'm looking for the light to kind of beam and cast itself through the diorama. This creates interest, but I always want to make sure I'm not having too much light because that'll just wash out all the detail I put into it. I love the LED lights and what they can do to a diorama, but I also found the need early on while doing the British bunker diorama that I needed to direct that light to get the most effect out of it. And these little light shades do a great job. Made from aluminum pop cans, they create their own reflector that's pretty shiny inside. I blacken the back side of it so I'm not casting light through the back and in a direction I don't want, but the reflector really actually does a great job of directing the light, not in a beam, but in a general direction. This is a model that I built for my best friend Tom, and it's a model that we both built as kids. As soon as I took it out of the box, I knew I needed to do something with this, so I came up with an extra cell. The wiring was exactly like the stuff that we've already done, and I just made a rusty chandelier. This last example uses all the same wiring as we've already done, but it uses a larger reflector, and because of the size of this reflector, it actually gives off a heck of a lot of light. When I built this, I made two, so I just might have this show up in another diorama down the road. What I mean by light effects is there's no feature, there's no fixture, there's no element, it's just light. You don't know where it's coming from, but it's lighting the scene to help you tell the story. Here I'm cutting out an area that can't be seen, at least the light source won't be seen, but that light will emanate down this lift shaft that I have for bringing ammunition up to the artillery position. This little reflector, also aluminum, will help disperse and throw the light out of this little alcove so that it washes over the entire lift shaft. One thing you can also do is you can have multiple LEDs off of the same power source. Each LED still needs its own resistor, but it's the same basic wiring example as we've already done. You may have already figured out I love displays for my dioramas. Instead of using individual LEDs, which would work, I'm using LED adhesive strips that will give me big washes of light over the entire thing. All that direct LED light would be pretty harsh, so just a regular diffuser from the home store works as a great way to soften that light. The display cases were born out of a need to keep dust and debris and damage from happening to my dioramas. I liked it so much, I just decided all future dioramas are just going to have a display case. For Rommel's fuel dump, it even has secret drawers behind the regular drawers. For my favorite cinematic character, Indiana Jones, I needed to go a little bit extra, so I got this kit that had connectors, different colors, heck, it had a remote, different modes where they would flash or change colors, whatever, but the fun just didn't last. After a couple of months, I think it was 4 to 5, it just stopped working, and I couldn't get it to work again. So nowadays, I stick to basic LEDs and strip lights, and I've had no issues. When it came to my, Oscar's office, I wanted to do something because I like baubles and I like to collect things, so I wanted to light all my shelves. For this, I went right back to those strip lights. They work great. I made special little mounts for them out of wood so they were angled properly, and then mounted them behind the lip on the underside of each shelf. This has been in place for a long time now, and it's those same, adhesive back strip lights, and I couldn't be happier. Now for these lights, I will say I do have dimmers, but this is an inline dimmer, and it came with the lights. It seems to work great. Again, no issues with it. So that's maybe the one accessory that I would say, hey, thumbs up for me at least. With all this available light, I decided to take 2 of the shelves and make them into kind of displays. So I made one with a moon, kind of a moon surface, and that's for my Star Blazers and my Major Matt Mason. And then the next one is a Pinamunda, kind of a bombed out Pinamunda, which has my die-cast World War II aircraft mounted to it. Well, that's about it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and next week we're going to be putting lighting into the Terrawood display case. I hope to see you then.